happens
This
at the end.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so I'm sharing my screen also. Okay, hope my screen share also visible to you. Can someone please confirm that window is minimized for me? Yeah, okay. Okay, then again, once again, thanks for joining the session. So myself, Arjun, I have total around 18 years of experience into software testing, especially in automation using different tools, especially Selenium with Java. Okay, and I have this training experience as well over 12 years, both classroom training as well as online training. I did corporate trainings also. This is my brief summary. So today we are here to learn about Selenium. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, today I'll cover overview, what are all the contents that we are going through throughout this almost 55 to 60 days classes. Okay, so first of all, so Selenium is an automation testing tool. So hope you know what is automation testing. Okay, if anyone needs any further assistance on testing or new to testing at all, you can reach out to our team. Okay, after this class. Okay, so basically automation testing, I mean, so there are two types of testings we do. In functional testing, we do manual testing as well as automation testing. If you are doing manually, whatever the user inputs you are giving and you are validating the output. So manual, if you are doing that is called as simply manual testing. And if you are taking any help of any tool like Selenium or HP, UFT or LeanFT kind of tools, that is called as automation testing. Okay, so if you I'll go little I don't talk much about Selenium in today itself, but before to that I want to give some background about testing and some terminology today. I'll introduce them. Again, this needs some knowledge and manual testing concepts and all. If anyone needs any help, you can reach out to admin team. We'll plan accordingly to help you. Okay, so but if you come to SDLC, so we have different phases. So understanding requirements or gathering requirements and planning. A development team will do development using their respective programming languages, whether it is Java, .NET and all, and they will do some unit testing, integration testing, and then the build is deployed to the testing team to perform I mean end-to-end testing or system integration testing and all, and then performance testing. Then it will deploy to UAT for acceptance testing, and then to production. So this is traditional life cycle. I'll write quickly for you. Requirements gathering. Okay. I don't want to jump into Selenium directly. Just I want to give overview. Okay. Planning is done. Coding, then testing, then user acceptance testing, then release and maintenance. Okay, so these are the typical steps that you might observe in any project development life cycle. It can be any model. It can be waterfall, or it can be agile kind of frameworks, let's say in agile scrum model. So okay, so these are the things. So if it is a agile scrum, you will repeat it. You will repeat it, but in shorter duration. So every 15 days or every 3 weeks duration. So you will repeat all these things, but you will follow different terminology in agile, like sprint planning, scrum events, retrospective meetings and all. So that is different terminology followed in agile, but these are the traditional steps in any SDLC model. So requirement gathering, you will understand the requirement, what is the functionality required for that application. Okay, and DBAs, architects and senior people, they'll plan how to develop the requirement. And coding, that software engineers will do the coding using their respective language, like Java, .NET, PHP, whatever programming language they have selected. And then they will deploy the build to testing, and then it is deployed in UAT environment for acceptance testing. So acceptance environment is similar to the production, but yeah, data is very sensitive here. So the real-time data, by masking some sensitive data, so they will conduct the acceptance testing, and if everything is fine, it will be deployed to the production environment or live environment, and then it will be maintained further if there is any enhancements or any changes, okay, or any production
Again,
issues and all. So this is the, sorry,
Arjun, sorry
yeah,
to stop you.
yeah.
Somehow your screen is not fitting into the window. I mean, I'm not sure whether it is from me or everyone. Uh,
How about others? Can someone please confirm? Can you all see the notepad? Is it same for everyone?
Yeah, we can see the notepad, but
No,
it is
we can
not
see the
showing full
notepad,
screen. The
Whatever I
full
am
screen.
typing, can you see?
but yeah,
Yes.
we are able to see, but it's a minimized view.
No, now I minimized. Can you see now? Can you see the full screen? The complete notepad, the entire screen I am sharing. Okay, I'll stop the screen share and I'll share again. Okay, so I'm stopping screen share again. I'm sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing back. Can you confirm? Is
yeah,
it
Arjun,
visible
I
now?
can see the screen. But it's it's very hard to see in a smaller window. I mean, do we have any option here to just look at the only the
Yeah,
sharing
yeah. Hi
screen?
Ravi. Hi Ravi. This is Syed. Can you please go right side beside settings, three dots is there. You click on that, it will show the full screen. You click on that. After that, you click on plus symbol. It will visible.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm already using the font size is also 16. It should be fine. Now I am increasing to 18. Ravi, can you please check once again?
Yeah. Now it is good. Yeah. Now it is good.
Okay, good, good. Hope it is clear for everyone. Okay, so thanks Ravi for confirming. Yeah, so just before we jump into actual discussion, so I'm just trying to highlight some regular day-to-day activities in software development and software testing. So as I'm mentioning, software development life cycle, if any application, whether it is a desktop application or web application or mobile application, irrespective of the like platform, so these are the common steps. And now if you see everywhere, see why I am talking, so this is automation class, why I'm talking, in there is a reason. So if you see, if you coding generally is by dev team. Okay, so dev team will also do some unit testing and integration testing. It doesn't mean that I'm assuming we all from software testing background, or you are looking our career into software testing only. So we might think that we are only people testing the software. No, so there are other teams also doing testing, like as I said, development team. So before they give the build for testing, so they will do unit testing and integration testing. But here the target is code. They will check the code, okay, whether it's as per standards or not, or if there is any leakages, it's covering all the functionalities or not. So they have some their own way to do that, but they conduct this unit and integration testing on the code. And this is generally software testing area, so where QA engineers will be involved with the different roles, like junior engineers to the senior engineers and test leads and test architects and all. Okay, depends on their requirement and the complexity of the application. Here we do testing. Okay, so here you get the build for testing, so it's a mainly black box testing. Okay, so you are nowhere related to code. You will give some URL. If it is a web application, you will get the URL and some credentials. So using that you will do the testing. And same by acceptance testing users also. Okay, but the environment must be different because UAT testing, as I mentioned, so here during testing we used our test data, but UAT testing, the test data is similar to the live data. Okay, and then release and maintenance. So here on UAT, some people will have OAT environment also. OAT is nowadays the scope is increased, not only limiting to functional testing. So they are having performance testing. Of course, this is already known, but some other testing like accessibility. Okay, like multi-language. So like altogether you will call it as OIT testing. So different types of testings are there. So again coming back to the I mean it's a vague definition. Manual testing means humans are testing the application. Automation testing means you are taking help of some tool, but that is true to prove that I'm here. I'm discussing all these points. So generally unit testing, integration testing, you will do coding, but they are also using some tools. If it is Java based application, there is a framework called JUnit, and if it is .NET NUnit kind of frameworks are there, so they are already available. Okay, so that is their tools. So development team will use that JUnit NUnit tools and frameworks to do unit testing and integration testing. Okay, and I'll come back to our area, which is the software testing. And if you see OAT, as I said, performance testing, you might heard about it, many of you might heard about it. So it's basically to check the performance of the server with expected load or more than expected load, or to check the response of the application. So performance testing team will conduct this performance testing. Okay, and there are different tools. So if I list down these tools here, let's say HP LoadRunner is one licensed tool to conduct the performance testing, and Jmeter is one more open source tool that is also to conduct the performance testing, and Artillery is some other tool. Okay, so these are all different tools to perform performance testing. Now if I come back to software testing, okay, so I'm just narrowing down our discussion to software testing. Okay, so software testing generally conducted by software engineers, software QA engineers especially. The purpose is to same understand the requirements, and when the build is deployed, they will check that functionalities are implemented correctly and completely or not. So to check the completeness and correctness of the application, software QA engineers will test this application. How they are testing? Again, so if you are doing manually, manual testing. If you are taking help of any tool, that is automation testing. Okay, so if we talk about automation testing, why do we need automation testing? Okay, so it's not just a replacement of human or manual resources. No, it's not like that. So because of the recent development, so uh, I mean clients or customers wants the quick deployments or shorter releases. So let's say if you compare some Android or iPhone, so nowadays if you observe, there are multiple releases. That is because they want some small functionality to be available to the end users or to be deployed to the end users. So nowadays most of the development is happening in shorter cycles. Unlike earlier 6 months or 1 year duration, nowadays in agile kind of models, the release cycles are very less, but functionalities are increasing. So if you are doing in multiple releases, so after 10 releases you may end up with some 100 requirements. So if you do manually to test the 100 requirements in every release, it's really time taking one, and it's not a good idea to spend more efforts for manual testing of the functionalities which is already released. So it's not a good idea. So we'll see if there is any alternative to minimize that. Then automation testing came to picture. So automation testing, yes, definitely you can reduce efforts, but main purpose is to support these releases which are planned in shorter duration, like 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever. Okay, so yeah, so mainly functional testing team or software QA team mainly will do functional testing. Okay, so we do functionalities are correctly implemented or not. So you will check through this testing, and you take the help of multiple tools. So I will list down, yes, as we all are here to learn Selenium. So Selenium is one of the popular tool nowadays, and we have HP LeanFT. You might heard about it. Older version was called as QTP long back. Then it is called as UFT. Now the newer version is LeanFT. And then Playwright. If someone might be heard about it, this is by Microsoft. Currently they are giving for free, but not sure. Maybe in future they may make it a licensed version also. So like this, different tools are available to support this automation testing, mainly for functional testing of automation. Okay, so these are for web applications. Okay, so one second. Okay, and if you come to HP, QTP, UFT, and LeanFT, so you can do the desktop applications also. And Playwright, as I said, this is a Microsoft based application. Currently it is open source, and whereas HP, UFT, LeanFT, it is a commercial tool. You need to buy the license and you need to install it. And this one is also open source, and Cypress is also open source, uh, but little challenging for QA people. But whereas coming to Selenium, it's we'll talk Selenium. I'll come to Selenium because it's why it is popular. We'll discuss in one go. Okay, so for web applications or desktop applications, you have these many tools. Okay, and one more thing is API testing. So API is one more. For last 5 years, it's evolving that development using APIs, because there is a benefit without bringing down the complete system. At least few functionalities will be available, or two or multiple applications can share the data via APIs. Maybe that the basic example everyone will discuss. It's like, for example, if you are using any flight booking applications, let's say Make My Trip or Ease My Trip kind of applications, but they can give the data from different airlines providers. So you can book the flights from Emirates, Etihad, Air India, such kind of airlines providers. But in one single application like Make My Trip, you can book the flights. How that is possible is all these airlines providers give their details, share their details to these Make My Trip or Ease My Trip kind of applications via APIs. Okay, so that is the reason API testing is very popular. Not only flights. So if you go to Make My Trip, you can see hotels also. So Marriott, such kind of hotels. So in one page, in one stop, you are able to book the flights from different airline providers as well as hotels. That is because of API. So it's evolving technology nowadays. And for API development also, there are products available like MuleSoft, Tipco. Of course, this and all not required. So just trying to help you with more details, as our career is into testing software industry. That's why I'm sharing these details. So these are some Java, Spring Boot also. Yeah, these are some technologies for development. So using these technologies, you can build the APIs and dev technologies for mobile, sorry, that's web or desktop applications. So we know many people will use Java, .NET, or C, C++ kind of languages. Okay, and yeah, and what is the other one? That Apple one, maybe Swift. I remember very few. I'm not from that background. Whatever I have, Objective C. Okay, and Swift. These are the languages generally development team who are working on Apple, so they can use these languages like this. There are different programming languages are available. Okay, so they are using for web development or desktop or development. Similarly, MuleSoft, Tipco, Java, Spring Boot. Java internally has multiple frameworks. Spring Boot is one of the framework, so developers use generally. So using these things, they will use API development. Okay, so why I'm telling this API testing is, so there are tools available for API also, like Postman is a tool. Okay, and rest assured, it is very popular tool. Okay, and Apache client, Apache HTTP client. Okay, so these are some tools available for API testing. So if I come back again, So generally, you don't have any UI for API testing. So there are two formats available: SOAP format and RESTful format. So it is just if it is a SOAP format, you will get XML file to validate, and RESTful format, so you will get an endpoint. But unlike web applications testing, the testing is little different. Definitely, you need tools here, as I mentioned: REST Postman, SOAP UI, rest assured, Apache HTTP client. So these are all the tools to perform API testing. And coming back to web application testing, so these are the tools which are popular currently. But out of all these things, Selenium is very popular. I'll talk about Selenium features shortly, but this is just to give overview about tools. So why we need tools is, if I want to do performance testing, so it is not something you can do manually. For example, I want to check the server behavior. If I give 100 users are accessing that server, it's very tough to have that infrastructure of 100 users and they are accessing the application. So it's a very cost involved here, as well as the procurement of systems and all is very challenging. But if you use tools like LoadRunner or Jmeter or Artillery, so they provide that capability to apply the user load and all. That's why the tool is important here. Similarly, API testing, as I said, you don't have any UI. You will give either XML file or endpoint. So it's not something you can validate directly, that XML file or endpoint. So definitely you need a tool. So that's why we are using so many tools in real life when you are testing. Okay, but coming to Selenium. So why Selenium is popular? So nowadays, as I said, most of the applications are web applications, and because the UI technologies like Java, JavaScript, that React JS, Angular JS, so many technologies are coming from UI also. So it become very easy to develop web applications. So there is once upon a time there are a lot scope of desktop applications. You need to install the applications in desktop. For example, if you remember, if you are buying any policy, or if you are doing some a desktop application is something like games. So you need to install the game, you will get the desktop shortcut, and you need to run that executable file or the desktop shortcut to launch that application, which is typically like if you remember, there's IRCTC people are train reservation people in India. So they have their own application, so they will install that standalone version in their desktop. Okay, but web applications, because of, as I said, the recent UI technologies evolved, like Angular JS, React JS, some Coffee JS, there are multiple UI versions are there. So that's why web applications are becoming popular. The development is becoming popular. I'm not telling the reason why Selenium is popular. Indirectly, web applications are developed a lot, and Selenium is supporting web applications development. That is why Selenium is popular. So Selenium is supporting web applications, and it is open source. You don't need to buy any licensing and all. So there is a application, you can directly go to that application and download that jar files. You can simply use it. Okay, but there are little differences compared to other tools that we need how to understand. So if someone is asking why Selenium is popular, if someone wants to know why Selenium is popular, so it is open source, and most of the applications are web applications nowadays. So say, as Selenium supports web applications, so Selenium is becoming popular. That is one of the reasons. This is not only reason, it is one of the reasons. And most of our testing is functional testing. For performance testing, we have some other tools, and the unit testing, integration testing by black box, by development team, they use some other tools. But these web application Selenium is meant for functional testing of web applications. Again we do different types of testing: regression testing, retesting, some sanity testing. Different things are there, but out of these different types of testing, regression testing is popular because in every release we generally run the regression pack, because if there is any change or any new development is happening, it should not break the existing functionalities which are already in live. So that is the reason we maintain regression pack, and it is a good idea to automate regression pack so that you can focus the ongoing development. Okay, so those and all achievable with Selenium. So whatever we do in regular day-to-day activities of web application testing, of regression testing, Selenium is supporting a lot. So that's why Selenium is popular. Okay, so hope this is giving maybe most of you might know already, but just I want to bring this discussion, and I want to make others also comfortable who are new to Selenium. Okay, so that is why yeah, so automation testing is popular, and out of this functional testing is popular, out of this Selenium is popular. Now if we narrow down our discussion to Selenium, as I said, it is mainly for functional testing. I can write like this: functional regression testing of web applications. Okay, so mainly this is developed by for this one. Okay, now so if we go back little little back, like if you want to know Selenium history, so Selenium got different versions, like every product, like if you take MS Office also got different versions, like 97, 98, 2007, 2010, 2015, like that. How this uh, Microsoft Office got different versions, or like our Chrome browser also got different versions. Okay, like this Selenium also got different versions. So it started with the Selenium 1 around 2004. Okay, so there is a team called ThoughtWorks. So this is a company. So the primarily someone some expert, his name was Jason Huggins. Okay, so he developed this Selenium, okay, to do his regular activities from ThoughtWorks team, but later they realized this is something helpful across the software industry. That's why they are distributing this one. Okay, but this started, the Selenium background started around 2004. Then later it came Selenium different versions like Selenium 2, Selenium 3, okay, Selenium 4 and all. And let me copy here. Okay, so Selenium, we got different components, basically Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium Grid. They are giving three parts, three components when you install Selenium, or if you want to see what is Selenium, so it is basically consists of three components: IDE, RC, Grid. But this is very older version. The RC means remote control, so it's a long back we are not using. Whereas Selenium 2 was providing RC, WebDriver, and Grid 2. I'll explain all these things, don't worry. And 3 gives IDE, WebDriver, and Grid 3. So they stopped supporting RC. That was an old fashion of establishing connection with the test environment. Okay, and then WebDriver and Grid 4. So like this, there are different versions. Okay, so currently Selenium 4 is there. I think it is something 4.31 or something. It must be released recently in a month of April only. Okay, so but overall Selenium 4 is the latest version. Most of the projects are 99% of the projects are using Selenium 4, and the last version is 3.141.59. Maybe I'm not sure exactly these points that after the decimals, but I'm just giving as per I remember. 2.53.1 for version in 2. So there are different, you can see in that Selenium website, but there are multiple versions: Selenium 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the one we are using. Selenium 4 we are using currently, and it gives you three components: Selenium IDE, WebDriver, and Grid. We are going to discuss one by one in detail. Okay, now if I talk about Selenium features. Okay, so why this is popular? There are few more features to add here. Okay, so any tool, whatever tools I discussed till now, whether it is performance testing tools like HP LoadRunner or Jmeter, or HP UFT, LeanFT, Playwright. Okay, every tool internally requires knowledge on one of the programming languages. For example, if you take let's say LoadRunner. LoadRunner needs knowledge on C language. Okay, and coming to HP, QTP, UFT, they were primarily supporting VB script, but their version LeanFT is supporting Java also. Okay, and Playwright is something, as I said, it needs knowledge on Python. Okay, like this, any tool if you take here, it needs knowledge on one of the programming languages. Okay, coming to Selenium, Selenium also requires knowledge on programming languages, but one good thing here is not limited to one language. So it supports Java, okay, and .NET, Python. Okay, so it supports multiple languages, PHP, etc. So you no need to know all these languages, but at least one language you should have knowledge. So in our course, we are covering Selenium with Java. So this is one of the good feature why Selenium is popular. Selenium supports multiple languages like Java, .NET, Python, PHP, etc. And it runs on multiple operating system. Okay, so what is this meaning? Runs on multiple operating system means, so we have different types of applications like Windows, Mac, Linux and all. So you can set up this one in all these operating systems. Okay, Windows, Mac, Linux, all these operating systems you can test, and it supports almost all browsers. Okay, so like Firefox, Chrome, Edge, okay, Safari, Opera browsers, etc. Earlier there are IE browser. Microsoft stopped supporting IE. Okay, so now there is no more IE, but instead of IE or in place of IE, Microsoft brought Edge browser. So Selenium supports all browsers. You no need to take any outside help. So inbuilt, it is supporting all these things. So these are all the features of Selenium WebDriver. When I'm talking about Selenium, most of the things are related to WebDriver. As I mentioned, there are different components like IDE, WebDriver, Grid, and all. But most of our discussion is on WebDriver. Okay, so it supports multiple programming languages, it runs on multiple operating systems. Okay, and it supports all browsers. And when I talk about Java, it's mostly on core Java. You don't need to have knowledge on complete Java, so we should have knowledge on core Java. So that is one of the prerequisite for our course. So the first and the foremost thing is knowledge on core Java, and a little knowledge on the whatever I discussed so far: manual testing, what is performance testing, regression testing, what is bug life cycle, SDLC, STLC, software testing life cycle. Those are all the things which we should know outside of this one. But the prerequisite for our course is knowledge on core Java. That is part of our course we'll be discussing. Okay, if I come back to Selenium, yeah. And one more thing I want to highlight here is Selenium is something, it's not, I mean, it's not something we use independently. Most of our testing activities we need to do by integrating with other softwares. For example, I want test data to take from Excel files. Okay, so if I want to do read or write operation, so I have my test data in Excel. So if I want to read or write that data from Excel or into the Excel, I cannot do directly with Selenium, but I can integrate Selenium with other open source libraries like Apache PO is something. Okay, Asposcell is something, but it is licensed one. Asposcell is licensed one, or JXL library is something. Okay, so I can club this one. I can integrate Selenium with Asposcell or with JXL library with Apache POI, and then I can perform Excel files, operating Excel files. So if my test data in Excel file, I can go to that required workbook, required sheet, required rows or columns. I can read it. I can use the test data in my browser. Let's say it can be user credentials or it can be some details. For example, if I am booking the flight, so I need the test data like start date, end date, or source, destination, number of passengers, like all these data. If you want to maintain, yes, you can do with using Excel, but Selenium won't provide on its own, but we can take the help of other libraries. As I mentioned in our class, we are discussing with Apache TOI because it is an open source. You no need to buy any license, and it supports both .xls and .xlsx files. So if you observe Excel files, also two types of files. One extension is .xls, another extension is .xlsx. So it supports both. Okay, and one more thing is frameworks. Before I talk about frameworks, sorry, I'll give some time at the end. Don't think that I'm continuously giving talking these details and not giving chance. No, I'll give you 5 minutes. If it is meeting your expectations or not, if you have any clarifications, we can discuss in 5 minutes at the last. Okay, so what else we can do? Yeah, so again, knowledge on HTML. I'm just today I want to give overview what are all required so that we can see whether it is meeting our expectations. If you follow the topics, whatever I'm telling, you can definitely work with equal to minimum 5 years experienced or hands-on person on Selenium. So we'll be covering all those topics. So I added one more thing also, knowledge on HTML. So why knowledge on HTML is, if you take any application that is generally we open on a browser. For example, I want to take something. I'll give google.com only. I don't go much. So whatever you see here, so there is a link. Gmail is a link, and this is a text box. So if you want to see, as a human beings, we know. So if I ask you click the Gmail link, you will go and click this one, and my cursor is changed to hand icon. Or if I ask you to do some search here, I'll type something here. Let's say Selenium WebDrive or something. So what you are doing? So there is a text box. You are typing. Okay, because as a human beings, we know how search box appears, how link appears and all, but how Selenium knows. So you have to tell Selenium there is a button with the text as Google search, you click it. How Selenium knows? So big Selenium knows these details via HTML details. That's why I'm adding here, which is very, very important. That is knowledge on HTML. Don't we as I said, we don't jump into Selenium on day one. So before we talk about Selenium, we should have knowledge on one of these programming languages. We should have knowledge on HTML so that you will understand Selenium, because Selenium someone already written code for you. You no need to worry. So you should know how to use that code. So there are some practices how to use that code. Those practices we are understanding through these the prerequisites for our course. So if I come back to HTML, so for example, if I want to click this one, so I'll right click on this element and inspect. It says, okay, yeah. So yeah, so can you see? Hope you all able to see. There is a element which starts with anchor tag A, and it has a label as Gmail, and
Hello,
you can see. Yeah, yes,
Ravi.
yes.
We are not
So
able to see
I
you.
can't see anything like web browser and all. We are not able to see.
Only
Only
notepad only we
notepad
can.
is coming.
Okay. Sorry, something maybe earlier when we are facing screen share issue, I was sharing only notepad. Let me share, and thanks for stopping. Yeah, again I'm sharing my screen. I shared entire window. Yeah. How about now? Can you see now? Can someone please
Yes.
confirm me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're able to see that.
Sure. Thank you. Maybe while responding, I may not use your name because the screen is minimized. Sorry for that. But yeah, thanks for confirming. So yeah, if I come back, no, I am just sharing the Chrome browser and I hit this google.com URL. So what I was telling is, if there is a link, so for humans, you can understand how link appears, how text field appears, and also as part of your manual testing, you will do necessary actions. So there is a link, we click it. There is a text box, so we type the value. Okay, but how Selenium knows? So Selenium knows these things, these elements. How Selenium recognizes these elements is using HTML properties. So if you open any application, whether Facebook application or Google or any application, if you inspect that page, you right click on the element or anywhere on the page, you click inspect. So then you will see HTML information. So I'm taking the selector and clicking on the element. So can you see the highlighted data? So this is the highlighted data for Gmail. Okay, so there is a tag, anchor tag, and it has some properties. Class is a property, value is gb underscore x, data underscore data hyphen pid, value is 23, and there is a link text to Gmail. You can see if I change it in UI, it will change. Have you observed this? So in UI also it is changed from Gmail to Arjun because I changed it. Typically we don't change it. These are the screens developed by UI developer. Like as I said, in our software development we have different people involved: database engineers, programmers, UI engineers, software testers. So UI engineer responsibility is to develop the screens, and HTML is one of the basic thing using which they can develop these HTML UI screens. And yeah, so HTML also has some structure, like how to create these tags, how to develop these HTML documents. And when you open the HTML document with the browser, so you can see these HTML content as images, buttons, drop downs, everything. Okay, so that is why before we jump into Selenium, would like to discuss on HTML, because every element that you see on UI is nothing but HTML. Because anything, if you take a button, if you take a link, if you take a drop down, okay, or checkbox, so anything, so that is from HTML only. So UI developer gives these HTML details, and a URL we simply hit on the browser, and we will see that HTML document as a visible elements like these images, buttons and all. But to inform Selenium, when you are writing code, you will tell Selenium, please click a button with some text, or click a button with ID equal to some ABCD, or type something on the search box. So you will be giving these instructions to Selenium. That's why HTML knowledge is also required. As I said, core Java knowledge is required. So we'll be discussing in the class, so including OOPS concepts. Okay, so what is a class, what is an object, what is inheritance, what is overloading, what is overriding, up to interfaces. I'll tell you, there is one interesting catch here. So interfaces. So why I am telling this one is, so the interface, class and all some concepts, OOPS concepts in Java. So if I go to Selenium of website, so let me minimize this one. So there is a website called selenium.dev. So there you can download the Selenium softwares. And as I said, you remember the first point when I told Selenium provides three components: Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid. So we'll talk about IDE and WebDriver. So 99% of our regular work is on Selenium WebDriver. If I want to download, you can go to downloads. And as I said, there are different languages: .NET, Ruby, PHP, sorry, Python, JavaScript, Java. So like this, if you know any one of these languages, it's very easy to use Selenium. As I said, in our course, we are learning with Java. And if you see, the stable last version is 4.31, released on April 5th. And if you go to change log, you will see entire log history 4.31. Okay, and if I come down little to 3, as I said, some 3.14, 1.59, that is the last version in Selenium 3x. Okay, so this one, yeah, 3.14, 1.59. I hope I told correctly. And Selenium 2, I think 2.51.0 or 53.0, 53.0. Yeah. So this is the last final version on 2.x release, but we are not using. Okay, so we'll understand why those versions and all, what is the difference also, but there is no much value added. But currently, as I mentioned, most of the projects, most of the companies are using Selenium 4. We will also using Selenium 4. Okay, so yeah, I opened this one to show something, right? Yeah, so if you go to documentation, so they have provided very good documentation. And Java, so one second, Selenium WebDriver. Not these documents. WebDriver. Okay, I'll go differently. I'll use little shortcut. Yeah. Okay. So if you see, yeah. So if you see, Selenium is providing all these classes already for you. So interface, so it is, if you are downloading Selenium library, Selenium with Java library from this selenium.dev, so we are using these classes. So I told, right, Selenium supports almost all browsers. If you see here, Chrome browser, Edge browser, Firefox browser, IE browser. The newer operating system, they are not supporting IE, but they are still, it is there, and Safari browser like this. Okay, so it is an interface. WebDriver is an interface. The why I am looking for this page is, so in Java there is a good concept called interfaces. So that we need to understand. So then it is very easy. So, simple. I would like to say one statement. Someone already written code for you in Java with the help of these classes, interfaces, and loops concepts. They have already written for you. So earlier it was ThoughtWorks team. Now they are part of Google. Okay, so they are already written for you, but when you are downloading and using these in your project, so we should have knowledge on these classes, objects and all. That's why I was stressing to highlight this one. The core Java concepts are also very important. Sorry. Then it is very easy. If you learn Java, you know, if you feel you are comfortable with Java, so whether you are writing a new Java class or someone already written for you, it's very easy. And similarly HTML, because most of the interactions Selenium will do, that is depends on the instructions that you are providing. So you will tell Selenium to click a button with some properties, you will tell Selenium to click a link with some properties. So that is why core Java HTML knowledge are very important. Okay, and as I said, if you want to work with Excel files, so Excel files is something we should use, but with the help of Apache PY. Okay, and one more thing is frameworks. So framework is something, don't worry, don't afraid also. So framework is something little advanced thing we everyone want to do in day-to-day activities. So if it is already existing project, framework is already there, or if it is a new project, seniors in the team will be developing the framework for you. But there is a lot of frameworks available. So JUnit is a framework for development team for their unit testing, and let's say TestNG is something for testing team, and data driven framework. Okay, so where your test data is the key. So if you are using, if you want to do test data, multiple sets of data, that is called a data driven testing. Okay, and keyword driven testing. Okay, so this is something, keywords are developed, as I said, selecting value from drop downs, entering value into some text box, such kind of instructions you can develop and reuse it. For this reusability purpose, the framework called keyword driven. And page object model is something, uh, page object model and a page factory. So these are something, some advanced ways. So as to maintain easily, so the frameworks came to picture. So you can, where you can capture the, where you create the Java classes for each page in the application, class per page in application, so that it's easy to write the code. You will understand this when we are discussing in detail. And the Cucumber is the most popular one, because nowadays most of the applications are developed in agile models, and non-technical peoples like product owners, okay, or BA people also can review your test cases or can suggest you. Or when you are writing, when you are receiving a user story or requirement in a that acceptance criteria, they use this language called Gherkin's language. Okay, so we'll discuss in detail later. So Gherkins is a simple English words kind of language. Okay, so because most of the development is in agile model, and non-technical people like product owners, business analysts are directly talking with the testing team. So Cucumber provides that feature to understand easily your test cases by anybody from non-technical also. So that's why this is becoming very popular. Okay, so we are going to discuss all these frameworks, but the purpose of frameworks is to maintain your test data, maintain your reusable codes. Okay, and at the end we generate reports, right? So we need report also. Okay, one second. Not only reports, sometimes we need to maintain some properties. So we need to manage some properties. Let's say I want to store some my credentials in somewhere. Okay, so we work with properties files. Okay, so mainly your automation code, as I said, the HTML elements also we need, right? So HTML locators also we may need to change. Today the HTML value may be ID equal to ABCD. Tomorrow there is a deployment developer change it to some XYZ. So without disturbing your working code, so there should be some simple way that value should be handled or managed. So these are all regular activities like test data management and some configuration management or HTML locators management or your reusable code management or generating reports. To support all these things, there are multiple frameworks people are using in Selenium or regular software testing. Forget about Selenium. It's not only for Selenium, it's for any tool, whether it is HP tool or Playwright tool. So these are all common. But the purpose is, as I mentioned, test data management, code reusability, or utilities. This is called a utilities. Okay, and test reports, test report generation, and handling configurations via properties files, and managing your HTML locators. So that's why frameworks came to picture. And using these frameworks, it's very easy to organize your code or organize your automation. So that's why we need to discuss on frameworks also. Not only this, so there are some other tools we need to discuss like Apache Maven. So Apache Maven is something where you can integrate these things. And before to that, I should talk about IDE where you write. It's a kind of a notepad where you write your code. Okay, so we can use Eclipse or IntelliJ kind of tools. It's just an editor. If you're writing code on Notepad, so that you can write on code Notepad and you can run also. But if you use these editors, Eclipse or IntelliJ kind of editors, you can integrate Selenium, Java plus JUnit, Selenium Java plus TestNG, Selenium Java plus Cucumber. So if you want to use more than one library, so it's very easy to use these tools. And Apache Maven is something where you can manage all these repositories or executing code and all. So it's a project management tool as well as a build tool. Okay, so this is also we are going to discuss. And there is a tool called Jenkins. Okay, Jenkins is something CI/CD tool. So, for example, if I want to run my test cases, okay, so you can integrate with the CI/CD tool. I can run anytime. Maybe overnight we can run your test cases, or over weekend you can run test cases, or when development team triggered a development build. Once build is deployed, if I want to combine my test cases also continuously, if automated, that I can do via Jenkins. Okay, so these and all benefits are there. So Selenium supports integrating with these tools easily. That's why Selenium is popular. So don't, as I mentioned, don't think that Selenium is popular just because of open source. Not only that is, of course, that is a good benefit, but not only that, Selenium you can integrate with a TestNG framework, which is simple to handle, or Cucumber, which supports agile kind of developments, and Apache Maven, where you can manage different versions of different softwares that you are going to use. The Selenium plus Apache POI to work with Excel files. Selenium code or Java code can execute on Jenkins so that you can schedule your executions. So that's why there are various benefits of Selenium. That is the reason Selenium is becoming very popular. Okay, yeah, so that is one thing. And in our course we are going to discuss overview on API testing also. So like I said, APIs nowadays they are popular because they are exchanging the data between two or more systems. Those two systems may not be on same platform. One can be on Java, one can be .NET. Still they can exchange the data. So we can use Postman kind of tools. So I'll give you overview on this one in addition to Selenium. Okay. So, and we can use Git also. Git is something source code management you can do if you are working in a group, more than one people are working in a group. So we definitely exchange your code, or you can combine your code into one version. For that you can use take the help of Git. Okay. Yeah, and grid is something we can use. So grid is for distribution testing. You can use grid. So this is by Selenium only. If you install grid, you can run the test cases from one machine to another machine, so that you can save the execution time. So these are all the best practices you can achieve in Selenium. Again, so if you take HP QTP or a LeanFT version, it is one tool where you need to buy the license, install it. It provides everything. But whereas Selenium is not one tool. It's a bunch of tools like JUnit we discussed, TestNG we are going to discuss, Cucumber we are going to discuss, Apache Maven we are going to discuss, Jenkins we are going to discuss. Because by using these tools, we are getting some benefit. So that's why in our course, we are using all these tools. But as I said, so we need to first and foremost thing, we need to have knowledge on core Java, and we need to knowledge on HTML. Then we will see how to handle buttons, elements, different pop-ups and all. Okay, so this is how our course structure. I'll quickly open if I need to give overview on anything, just 1 second. Okay. So yeah, I'll conclude the class in a minute. Just 1 second. Okay, so these and all the basic Java topics that we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss in detail Java, of course, little advanced topics also. I want to discuss on functional interfaces, which are introduced in Java, but it's making our work easy. So that also I am going to discuss about functional interfaces. Okay, yeah. So yeah, the summary, whatever I wanted to discuss, I think I covered. I'll stop today's class here. I'll stop recording, and if you have any questions, you can. I'm stopping recording.